So, Austin, wouldn't you say that there was a lot of Nintendo news this past week?
I would say that there was a ton of Nintendo news this past week.
It almost felt like some of this could have been bundled together in a Nintendo Direct, but
You
that
would
didn't
think
happen.
that they would have put it out. Well, it's interesting because Nintendo Directs are sort of like video versions of press releases.
Right.
So is there just maybe a press release we could start out with that just has a bunch of information we could go over?
That was an excellent segue.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been thinking about it for the last 20 minutes.
But yeah, we're going to talk about some of the bigger pieces of Nintendo news that came out over the past week or so, and there was quite a bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we will start off with Nintendo's press release, which dated Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, and talked about a few other things.
Mm-hmm. So let's start with that date, that November 21st, as everybody knew. That date.
Yeah, it's coming out on November 21st. Finally, we have a date.
Because I was one of the people who was a little bit nervous that it wasn't going to make 2014, as I think everyone kind of was a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting down to the wire. They're going to have to say something soon, and they finally did.
Yes. Well, obviously, they waited until after the 3DS one was out for good reason, because you don't want to make, you want people to be starved for Smash Brothers, and it's like, oh, when's the Wii U coming out? I'll buy the 3DS one. Mm-hmm. So they waited just long enough to sell their 3 million Smash Brothers units or whatever.
Yeah, they mentioned that 2.8 million copies have been sold worldwide.
2.8 million, and like 1 million of those are in Japan. So
yeah, because they've had a little longer.
Good. They have, yeah, they definitely have. So yeah, I'm happy that we have a date. I'm fine with November 21st. I don't have any issue with that whatsoever. I'm pretty pleased because then I'll get a good amount of time with the 3DS one, which I've been playing. So
yeah, and I think Europe and Japan are getting it in December.
A little bit later. I think it's December 5th for Europe, I want to say. It's early December. It probably says like somewhere on the website, but yeah, because we're getting Captain Toad. No, we're getting Captain Toad on December 5th, but they're getting Smash Brothers around the same time. It's early December, so I don't think there's too much to complain about. We have Black Friday, so they have to get it before that.
It definitely made sense to get it out now.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a good choice. I'm definitely A-okay with all of that, so.
The only thing I would say is that for me personally, I'm a little Smash Brothers out right now because
the 3DS one.
Well,
because of the 3DS one, I mean?
Yeah, that's basically it.
So are you not going to... You're going to get it right away, though, right?
I'm still going to get it right away, and I'm sure I'm going to play it, but it's just like I don't have that burning desire to get it like I did maybe a couple months ago because...
So it's more like you're bummed out that you're not going to be super excited for it, even though you're still going to buy it. So Nintendo doesn't care because they're still getting your money both ways, but... for you, it's kind of like, oh man, I'm sick of Smash Brothers just a teeny bit.
Yeah,
so that means you've been playing the 3DS one a lot.
Yeah, and it's been pretty good, I think.
I've enjoyed it pretty thoroughly. For me, it's only made my appetite for the Wii U one bigger. I want to be able to play it on my couch and play it on a TV and stuff. So it's had the opposite effect on me, actually.
Yeah, I can see that for some people.
Yep, it goes both ways. I bet there are people who bought the 3DS one and then aren't actually going to buy the Wii U one now because they're kind of satisfied. Maybe they don't have a Wii U yet and they thought they were going to buy one for Smash, but then because they have the 3DS one, maybe they decided not to. So, it'll go both ways. But overall, I think everything is going to work out and they're not going to lose that many sales because people like you are still going to buy it even though you're not as excited. So it works out well for them.
Yeah, and another piece of news mentioned in that press release is that Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is coming to North America on December 5th.
December 5th. It's also going to sneak in 2014. So that's more pretty good news.
I think that was another game that some people were worried was going to slip in North America because in Europe it's coming out in January and they hadn't said anything about it.
Yep, and it's also worth noting that the price on that is $40, I think they said.
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on if that's too expensive, extra cheap? What do you think?
I actually think it's probably the perfect price point.
I thought it was going to be $50. I wouldn't have been even upset if it was $60 because it's made by Tokyo, EAD Tokyo.
Right.
So there's at least some reassurance that it'll be worth playing. And I don't think they would price a game at $60 in one of these big franchises if it wasn't worth the money. So they're pricing it at $40. I think because they know the public perception about Captain Toad is a little bit on the fence. A lot of people saying, oh, it's just a puzzle game. It looks a little too small. I wouldn't pay $60 for it. So the $40 I think was a fine choice, but 50 was what I expected. So I'm pleased saving another $10.
The only reason why I was expecting 40 is because some retailers were actually listing that well ahead of this announcement.
Well, so then it falls right in line with all that stuff. Great.
Yeah, I think when that happened, people were like, okay, now it has to be that.
Yep, or else people will be, because that would just hammer in the perception that this game is worth $40 or not worth full price at the very least. So if they then went higher, they could have run into a little bit of trouble. So I don't know, how well do you think this is going to sell overall, just in a general sense? Do you think it's going to be really, really high selling, or do you think most people are going to just kind of stick with Smash Brothers?
It's kind of tough to say because there is Smash Brothers, and we've never had a Toad-specific game before, right?
Right, and it's a puzzle game, and a lot of people are a little bit more like, puzzle games aren't worth like a full boxed release. I want to play like these big kind of games. They're maybe not as interested. So yeah, I think they might run into a little bit of an issue with that, but it doesn't look like it cost them that much to make, right? So yeah. I would expect that they'd at least make their money back on it, even if it won't be sort of a smash success. But hey, maybe it will be. Maybe it will.
And the only weird thing about this Captain Toad related announcement is that, and this kind of leads into the next topic, that Amiibo support for the game isn't coming until 2015.
Right, so they're going to patch it in later. Now, does that mean, if you had to guess, does that mean they're not entirely sure how they're going to work the Amiibos into it? Because I certainly have no clue.
Maybe. It is strange, though, because you would think by the time Captain Toad comes out, then, it would be built in at that point.
Right, and they announced that it would have Amiibo support back at E3, so you would think that they would at least have some clue of how they were going to do it. So it's possible that it's an issue with the softwares, or the I guess would it be firmware, software, something like that. There's something in the game that they just didn't have time to finish programming it, and they're pushing ahead to get it out early so they can patch it in later, as with Smash Brothers on 3DS. Or the issue could be with, maybe it's going to support Amiibo figurines that aren't being produced yet. Like maybe there are characters, like a Captain Toad Amiibo figure, for example.
Yeah, maybe.
Or something to that effect, where there's either the figures aren't done or the software's not done, right? It's got to be one of the two, because if both were done, it would seem weird that they wouldn't release it. But maybe there's some economic reason that they know with their team of experts that we're not aware of.
Yeah, and just to go onto the topic of Amiibo, we now know that a second wave of figures are coming out in December.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so people like Captain Falcon are finally getting their Amiibo love. So you can buy one and display it on your little desk.
Yeah, it's Zelda, Diddy Kong, Luigi, Little Mac, Pit, and Captain Falcon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we fully expect that every Smash Brothers character is getting an Amiibo figure, right?
Yeah.
So there's more to come after this, and it'll be interesting to see how long they wait before making Amiibo figures of the Smash characters that are sort of meant to be hidden, like the really secret characters, or like a Pac-Man Amiibo, like a third-party Amiibo character. So, or will Pac-Man work with Captain Toad? That'd be weird. I didn't even think about that.
That would be weird.
Oh boy.
Definitely.
Well, that'll be something to see as we go forward. But yeah, more Amiibo. Totally fine with me. I think it's a good price, and I'll pick up one or two. Didn't you pre-order one of them at least?
Yeah, I have the Link one pre-ordered.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that one is sold out, so I can't get that. So is the Wii Fit Trainer, which is a bit of a bummer.
Really?
Yeah, the Wii Fit Trainer, it's the one that I actually kind of really want versus just kind of wanting it. And it's sold out on Amazon anyway.
That's
I could
weird.
probably get it at GameStop or something. So I got to represent the fitness on my desk somewhere. I kind of want to buy 12 of them or like 15 of them. But I don't have the money to do that, but it would just be really funny. So
yeah.
I'm definitely a big fan of that Wii Fit Trainer. And I'll use that as a brief segue, because we haven't really talked that much about Smash Brothers between the two of us, nor have we played it, which is weird. Who do you main as again, if I can just as a separate little topic?
It is actually kind of weird, because I think in one of the previous episodes I talked about how I was going to main Captain Falcon.
That's what you said.
Yes.
But now that the game is out.
Yes. What happened is the demo came out, and I was desperate to play Smash Brothers, so there were only a few characters available, and I just went with Link because I kind of had experience with him from previous games, and that's who I ended up sticking with.
And he's fun in this. He's strong, too.
Yeah.
He feels really good in this game. So
some of the other games, he didn't seem to control, or I don't know what the proper...
Like Brawl, something was wrong with him in Brawl for me.
Yeah.
I didn't like how he felt in that game. So this game, he feels really good. His attacks are really strong. So I can definitely understand. I've played around with him myself, so I can understand why one would really want to play as him. He's a fun character. So It's lot. There's too many characters in that game. We could talk about Smash Brothers some other day, but there are. I feel like I can't. I don't even have a handle on 5% of the characters.
Yeah, I'm
there's
totally
so
with
many.
you.
It's ridiculous, and they're so different. So I'm pleased, to say the least. And it's interesting to hear that you gave up on Captain Falcon. You're buying the Link Amiibo figure before Captain Falcon. You gave up on him as a playable character.
I haven't given him on him completely. I'm still using him a little bit. He's probably
just a little bit.
He's probably my backup right now.
Okay. And he's like the one where you're sick of Link and that's the one you go to.
Yeah, and then after that would probably be Shulk.
I picked Pac-Man as my second. Shulk is fun too. He feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
But Pac-Man, I love Pac-Man. They did a really, really good job incorporating making him not look stupid, kind of like he does in those new Pac-Man games. He's a little bit, I'm not a big fan of that, how he looks, but they made him look really, really good in Smash Brothers. So anyway, we can talk about news again. I just wanted to ask.
No, that's fine. I guess we should talk about Captain Toad a little bit more because what happened is, basically out of the blue, Nintendo of Japan released a brand new trailer without any sort of warning, and there it was, and it looked pretty good in my opinion.
Yep. And the thing people are talking about is, as sort of a side note, you can play as Toadette, which just basically means there's 2 playable characters. I'm guessing they play exactly the same. So it's an aesthetic thing more than anything. But they're both adorable, so you can't deny how just charming and wonderful this game looks. It looks like 3D World's graphic engine, but just Toad, the way he walks.
And I think it actually looks a little bit better, in my opinion.
It's a little shiny. Like, it definitely is a little bit shinier, maybe because the levels will end up being smaller. But either way, 3D World looked great. This game looks fantastic visually as well. So it's hard to get upset when you're watching the trailer for this game because it's just so pleasant. It's just so pleasant.
And there are over 70 stages, I believe.
Which is a lot. I mean, that's a big game. There's usually like 8 levels per, let's say, Mario 3D World, and then there are 8 or 9 worlds. So yeah, it's about the size of Mario 3D World, I suppose, in terms of just the number of levels. How long they are has yet to be seen, but just in terms of the number of levels and the fact that it's coming from EID Tokyo, I think we can say that it will be a pretty substantial experience.
They also showed off some of the power-ups, like the Double Cherry, which is...
Double Cherry's back, yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool.
A hammer, there's a hammer in the trailer as well.
I think they showed that during the initial trailer. There's other things too, I don't remember though.
The Double Cherry, to me, has a lot of potential in a game like this because, like in Mario 3D World, they can do a lot of really interesting things as far as trying to force yourself to control multiple people to get into multiple different areas at specific times, and that lends itself really well to a puzzle game versus an action game like 3D World is. The hammer looks more just like sort of a power-up to like a key almost in certain regards, but the Double Cherry, I think, is going to be a really interesting thing in a game like this, a puzzle game that's sort of built around maneuverability and thought and planning, and the Double Cherry makes that more complicated and more interesting, so that should be pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to this game more than I was seeing it at E3. I didn't dislike it at E3, but Splatoon, come on. You got to be focused on that. So, but now I'm definitely excited for December 5th to roll around, and I'll have another Wii U game to play.
Yeah, it's looking like a pretty good end to the year, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the middle of the year, a little sad, but the end of the year is looking great. I mean, Bayonetta, Hyrule Warriors, Captain Toad, and Smash. That's a good 4 games.
I just hope Nintendo can keep this going, starting in 2015, because they've said constantly, we need a constant stream of new titles, and it hasn't really happened.
They said that on the DS. The DS had a barren launch after the initial run of also kind of really bad games. Anyway, then the Wii, they said that about the Wii. The Wii in the first half of was it 2007? The first half of 2007, you had like Wii Fit Brawl, Mario Kart, all within the first part of the year, and then there wasn't anything the second half of the year until Christmas, just like this year. So they said it about 3DS, same thing happened. They're going to say it about Wii U, same thing's going to happen. So I'm sure there's going to be another barren time, and we'll just have to be used to it. It's like, it's not as bad as the N64, right? We can at least be happy that there's no just complete 6 months of no games whatsoever, because there's an eShop.
That's true.
And so there's always Virtual Console and eShops up, exactly.
All right, let's move on to another topic, and I think you may actually be a little more interested in this than me, but I still wanted to bring it up, and that's there's going to be a Metroid collaboration for Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of Nintendo collaborations with Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and even Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate in Japan, I think. So there's a Zelda one. There's the Mega Man one. That's not.
Yeah, they
Nintendo,
just announced that at Comic-Con this
Mega
weekend.
Man one. Now there's a Metroid one, and there've been more.
I think there was Mario.
There was a Mario one. Yeah, the little cat's dressed up as Mario. So stuff like, I mean, I'm interested in it insofar as I will be buying Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and so kind of like the Mercedes-Benz DLC, I will check it out sort of just for a good laugh. But it's fine. I mean, it shows at the very least that they're talking to third parties, so that's good. But I don't know. It's not convincing me to buy. I don't think it's convincing anyone to buy the game who wouldn't have already bought it.
Well, it may get some Nintendo fans interested in it who may not have checked it out previously. Because they see Mario in there, they see Zelda collaboration.
True. And it does show that maybe the game isn't as serious or intimidating as it previously might have seemed to people. You know, so maybe there is something to be said for that. You might be right. But yeah, it's cool. I have no opinion on it in terms of, you know, whether it hurts or helps Monster Hunter as a game. It's just sort of like the Mercedes-Benz DLC. It's just a silly little thing that you can partake in if you so desire.
Right, and that's going to come with some armor and weapons and some guild cards, so...
Yep, stuff like that. I honestly, I have no idea what a guild card is, and I've put 200 hours into Monster Hunter. I have no clue. Like, it's such a dense game.
I think it's kind of like those things that players exchange with each other when they...
Oh, it's probably like new guild card backgrounds or something.
Probably.
Like little Metroid backgrounds. It's probably something like that. All right, that makes sense. Now I know.
Okay.
Now I know.
All right, so yeah, I wanted to talk about one more important thing that happened earlier in the week, and that is the new 3DS update, which was kind of shown maybe a month or two ago, and now it's finally out. And that's...
Saw it a lot in Japanese trailers and with regard to the new 3DS in Japan, but it also works on the old 3DSs, as they've seen. The themes I'm talking about. Yeah. That's the big thing, right? The themes.
Yep.
Did you buy themes?
I was going to ask you that. I have not yet, but I'm very tempted to get the Zelda Link Between Worlds one.
I am only slightly embarrassed to admit that I bought one right away.
Which one?
I bought the Hanafuda cards one because the thing about the Zelda one is the music's great, but it's pretty intense for a menu. It's like the Hyrule theme, the Hyrule Field theme in A Link Between Worlds. That's a little bit too upbeat for my menu. So the Hanafuda cards, it's relaxed and it makes me feel good and it looks nice. It's nice, calm theme. The thing that pushed me over the edge, though, is that through just sort of what I'd heard about themes beforehand, I didn't realize that it was new menu music, new sound effects, new folders. I thought it was just sort of backgrounds and maybe outlines to the icons, but they overhaul the entire menu system. It's not just visual. It's small details, sound effects, and music as well. So that's what made me not upset, A, that they were priced at $2, or the cool ones are priced at $2. But B, that they're releasing them at all. Like, they really put at least as much effort as you could put into something like this. So I'm pretty happy with it. I'm enjoying my little theme, my Hanafuda cards, ancient Japanese music, calming.
I was going to say, I heard pretty good things about the music.
It's nice. And there's a Mario one, like the wooden Mario one and the gray felt Mario one have a little bit of Mario Sunshine music. So that's tempting as well. I think it's the music from the secret levels in Mario Sunshine. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. I'm really, really happy with that. So I have no qualms about it. I'm excited to see what other themes we end up getting.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get the Zelda one, I feel like. And
you should. It's just cool.
And the funny thing is that I've never been really interested in anything theme-related. You know, on the PS3 they had themes. Even on PC, I don't even mess around with the background.
Mm-hmm. You just leave it all default. Yeah.
But for some reason, something about this has me interested.
Probably because you're being tricked by Nintendo's marketing team, like we all are. But whatever, it's fine. I like it. I'm not a huge theme person, but something about seeing those, you know, that Chiari Pamu Pamu thing in the commercial and the new 3DS, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I kind of want to get that. Kind of want to get those exchangey face plates. Kind of want to buy a new theme. So their marketing is working on me at the very least.
Yeah, same with me. I'm definitely getting a new 3DS next year.
Does that mean you're not getting the XL?
I am struggling with this question. I don't know what I'm going to do.
it's a tough question because I recently sold my original 3DS to a friend who got Smash Brothers, and he was talking about how it's a little bit too small. It kind of hurts your hands to play Smash Brothers on something that small.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have problems on the XL. The XL is a good size to play Smash Brothers on. On the other hand, the new 3DS non-XL has the exchangeable faceplates. It fits in my pocket a little bit easier. The screen's a little bit smaller, so you don't see as much of the pixeling, so it looks a little bit smoother. And I like all that stuff. But on the other hand, it's smaller. It's such a double-edged sword as far as which one I'm going to go for. I think I'm getting the smaller one, though, because it's also cheaper.
If I had to say right now, I'd probably go for the XL. Mm-hmm. Just because I've grown to really love those big screens.
Yeah, they're nice. They are super nice. But have you recently looked at like an original 3DS, like opened it up and just looked at games?
Not recently.
When I went back to do it while preparing the one before I sold it, there's kind of like a novel. It's like the Game Boy Micro. There's a novelty to seeing it kind of squished down that small, and it's kind of neat. It's like when you first look at the XL, you're like, oh wow, this is really cool. Going back the other way, it works a little bit in reverse for me anyway. So, and the new 3DS screen is a little bit bigger than the original 3DS screen. So it's not quite as much of a downgrade as going back to the original 3DS.
It's definitely going to be tough. This is like the hardest Nintendo hardware-related decision I've ever had to make.
Oh, they're going to get you to buy both is what's going to happen.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't think so. You'll probably just get the XL.
Probably.
But the XL, it's too big to carry around. Let's be real. It's barely fits in a pocket. Unless you have like some kind of bag, I feel like it's just a little too big. It's like carrying an iPad around.
I just love those screens.
Bad, but
those screens, man.
Nice. and I think both of us are primarily handheld gamers at home.
Yeah, definitely.
Most of the time we play our handheld games at home, so in that regard. But as far as Street Pass, I don't know. I'm liking the idea of a smaller, more portable system. So, and faceplates. Can't deny the faceplates.
Yeah.
So.
And speaking of the new 3DS, it just came out in Japan this weekend.
Do we know how it's doing yet?
No. Maybe by the time people hear this, they'll know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it'll do well. I don't expect that. Japan is always good at picking up new hardware. TSI did really well in Japan, so.
Handhelds, yes, but consoles, not really.
No, I mean, that's sort of illustrated by the fact that the 3DS outsold all of the GameCube in like a year and a half in Japan, which is pretty crazy. The GameCube sold really badly, and most hardware generally does. The Wii did okay, but GameCube did badly. The Wii U's not doing great. It's not doing terrible, but it's not doing great. And the new 3DS, I'm sure, is going to do great.
Yep. But yeah, those were the biggest piece of news of the week, I'd say, and there was quite a lot of it.
There was plenty. There were small things. Bayonetta 2 demo came out. Neither of us have played it.
You've downloaded it, but we haven't played it.
I've downloaded it. Right, yeah, we both downloaded it, and I'm planning on it. But I really did like if I could bring up briefly, two things. Number one, I guess, if you had to, this is just a silly prediction, it doesn't mean anything. If you had to predict, what does the 8-player Smash thing mean? There was the audio in the 3DS version of Smash Brothers, and one of the audios mentions 8-player Smash. Just take a wild guess. What do you think it means?
Some connectivity with the Wii U.
You think it's like a Wii U thing? Okay.
That's the first thing that came to my mind when you just said that.
I secretly hope it's a Wii U thing.
It
like some sort of tag team, maybe like 4 people on your console playing online with 4 people on another console, something crazy. But
it may just be a cut feature that we'll never see.
That's probably what it is. That's usually how these things work out.
Because there was a lot of audio clips in that video, and it mentioned like event match, so maybe they cut event match from the 3DS version. I don't know.
It seems like that's most likely what it is. So yeah, nothing else stands out to me too much. I guess Sakurai talked about clone characters, and I liked that he called people. I don't like it, but it made me laugh that he called people complaining about clone characters. He said he didn't call them children, but he sort of implied that the people who complained about it are children. He said, well, kids like this game, so what am I going to do? And that made me laugh a little bit. And
he made a fun analogy about desserts.
Yeah, he said complaining about characters being clones of Smash Brothers is like going for a meal and getting free dessert, I think, and then complaining that the dessert isn't a main course meal, kind of.
Basically, he's saying we should be grateful that we got these characters because they were originally going to be color variations or something like that.
Exactly. Either it was we got nothing or we got free, slightly different characters. So it's not as though we're trading these clone characters for real characters. There's no possibility. And he ended just by saying, look, it's worth the money. Don't worry about it. And that's how I feel about it. It's like, why do you care? It's worth the $40 you're going to pay for it. Just relax and enjoy it. It's okay. Everything is okay.
It seems like he's been getting a lot of hate, and some of the hate has been directed towards the 3DS game, saying that, now we don't have the ice climbers because of the 3DS and these other things. But
again, it just comes down to, look, it's worth $40. Stop complaining. Just stop it. Just be quiet. You shut your mouth. That's how I feel about it anyway.
I'm pretty satisfied with the game, so.
It's awfully good. It's got good stages.
It still blows my mind that Shulk is in there, so.
That's very cool. Yeah. I would trade the ice climbers for Shulk any day. And I didn't even play Xenoblade. I just thought the ice climbers were dumb. So yeah, I will. I will soon. I shouldn't say the ice climbers are dumb. People will get upset. But I never played as them. I'm digging a deeper hole here, so I'm going to stop.
I guess we should probably close it out then on that note.
Yes, that's fine.
All right,
that sounds good to me.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and maybe we'll do these again sometime. They're nice little news recaps, so.
They're very easy to do, and whenever there's big news, we might as well.
And hopefully you enjoyed what we had to say.
Hopefully they did.
Or maybe not.
Until I started talking, pretend I didn't say the thing about ice climbers, and then decide if you enjoyed what we had to say. Yeah, that didn't happen. So, all right, see you later.
All right, until next time, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.